Daniel. I work with law firm, the Roderick Van Daniel law firm out of Birmingham, Alabama. We have a grieving family right here. A wife, Sandra Lee Reeder, came here fighting for justice, trying to get transparency and accountability from the city of Irondale. She was told no. But today, we fight for justice. We fight for the rights of this family, for the citizens of Irondale, all across the state of Alabama, all across the United States of America. We got to hold them accountable for transparency and moving forward for this family, for the wife, Sandra, the sons, and this whole community. Thank you all.
All right, so real quick, and Roger, you brought up a good point. Ms. Reeder came here looking for the documents of what happened to her husband, and she can tell you would not be notified the same day it happened.
I was notified by a coroner.
Notified by a coroner, not even the DC to be notified by the police or the city that would have happened to her husband on that fateful day. She came here to City Hall. That's why we're here. We're not going to Birmingham, Alabama. We're coming to where it happened at. And she was turned back. She was told to leave City Hall. But we're back today. We're back seeking accountability. Before you take any Q&A, we're going to let Ms. Reeder speak. Her sons will speak, and then we'll do a Q&A. So, Ms. Reeder.
Yeah. Good morning. I am Sandra Lee Reeder. On behalf of the Reeder family, we want to thank you all for coming today. On behalf of the Reeder family, we want to say thank you to our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ for keeping the Reeder family strong and for God's truth and justice that always prevails. On behalf of the Reeder family, we want to say thank you to the Reeder family civil rights attorneys, Dr. Roderick Van Daniel, Harry Daniels, that was united with the Reeder family seeking truth and justice for Philip David Reeder. The Reeder family's hearts are heavy and relieved today after 11 long, painful months of the unknown of what happened to our beloved Philip David Reeder. The Reeder family kept fighting, seeking answers for the city of Irondale. The Reeder family was denied several times of the public records of what happened to Philip. The Reeder family contacted and hired civil rights attorney Roderick Van Daniel for help. As of July 18, 2025, the Reeder family now knows the truth of what happened to Philip David Reeder on August the 6th, 2024. At approximately 5:20 a.m., unarmed Philip David Reeder, who was not committing a crime. Philip is clearly seen having a mental crisis that required immediate medical help. Philip did not receive the immediate medical help Philip desperately needed. There was no attempt from the Irondale police officers to talk Philip down any medical help with Philip's medical crisis. Yes. Philip David Reeder suffered a painful death after being tased by the Irondale Police Department, subdued, handcuffed with his hands behind his back, face down. One officer's knee is on Philip's neck about 3 minutes, while another police officer had one of Philip's legs bent upwards towards Philip's back. Philip is heard clearly, not once, not twice, but 3 times. I can't breathe. I can't breathe. I can't breathe. Police officers continued to hold Philip face down. One officer asked to the other officer, "Are you going to roll him over?" The other officer said, "No, he will just try to run." Approximately 3 minutes later, one of the officers asked Philip, "Hey man, are you still breathing?" There was no response from Philip and no movement from Philip. The police officer says, "Roll him over." The police officers rolled Philip over. Philip's face was bloody with deep, heavy abrasions on his face. One officer said, "Check his pulse." The officer checked Philip's pulse, states there is a pulse. The officer says, "Check his pulse again." The same officer checks Philip's pulse, states he has a pulse. Another officer checks Philip's pulse, states, "I do not feel a pulse," and he is not breathing. One officer starts CPR. One officer calls for medical help. When paramedics arrived, Philip was already flatlined. Paramedics drove Philip to St. Vincent's East Hospital. Philip arrived to the hospital at 6:23 a.m., flatline. Doctors and hospitals did everything they could to revive Philip, but it was too late. Philip David Reeder was pronounced dead at 6:34 a.m. At this time, I would like to make it publicly known that upon review in Irondale Police Department's police report on Philip David Reeder, there is a statement in the police report that states, upon the police officer arriving to the scene of Philip, that Philip was beaten on their police car's hood and jumping on their police car hood. Upon my review of the 4 body cams, this is not the truth. And another statement in the Irondale Police Department police report on Philip David Reeder, it states that when Philip was tased, that Philip suffered his bloody face and abrasions on his face from stumbling, hitting his head and face on concrete. Upon my review of all 4 body cams, this is not the truth. On behalf of the Reeder family, I would like to close with this scripture that the Reeder family has stood on, Luke 8:17. For there is nothing hidden that will not be disclosed, and nothing concealed that will not be known or brought out into the open. Thank you all again for your time.
Thank you, Sandra. Tyler, you come up. You did, if you want to say anything. You know, at this time, we'll open up for Q&A.
Good morning. According to the Jefferson County Coroner's Office this morning, they said it is our opinion, based on the circumstances surrounding death and the findings of the autopsy, that Mr. Philip David Reeder died of hypertensive heart disease associated with cocaine use and restraint during altercation. The manner of death is best described as, quote, homicide for vital statistic purposes. So what is it exactly what does justice look like for y'all?
Accountability. If somebody would do something that's unlawful and against the law, these people behind us should arrest them. Just because they wear a bad shielded star doesn't put them above the law. In fact, those who wear a bad shielded star should be held accountable to a high standard. So that is true justice. No, let me go back. True justice is going back in time, getting into a time machine and stopping them from coming to that scene and killing Philip. That's what true justice, but we can't deliver that justice. So the only measure of justice that we can receive here is that anybody want accountability for those who commit a crime. 3 minutes on the back of Philip's neck. That's the law of the land and made it clearly established that a knee on the back of the neck is a violation of the 4th Amendment, which is our constitution that's set forth all over this nation. So we asking for arrest. Sandra, you want them arrested?
Sure,
You want them arrested? You want the officers arrested?
Yes.
Arrested.
Are you aware if this has been presented to a grand jury already?
You know, this happened in 2024. It's 2025. It's a whole year before she was able, her lawyers were able to even go look at the video. For a whole year, she had no idea what happened to her husband. Hell, they put her out of City Hall, but she's trying to find out. See, that's the issue we have in the state of Alabama. We have no transparency. The legislature is more busy about trying to keep videos concealed and not disclosed to the public. That's why we continue to have these incidents. That's why these officers are emboldened to do these things, because they are protected by them folks in Montgomery.
Has it already been presented to a Jefferson County grand jury?
We have no idea. It should have been submitted a long time ago. Any other questions? You have no other questions? Just one person. Go ahead.
You know if the district attorney's office determined if the actions were justified?
I can't hear you.
If the district attorney determined if the actions were justified or criminal?
You answer me, have they?
Have they not?
We don't know at this time. They're definitely not justified, and they're absolutely criminal. You know, the DA is just a lawyer just like us. You know, they get elected, so they make decisions according to whatever decision they want to make. But I would ask the DA to be a true ambassador of justice, the oath that you've taken, and not just for prosecuting citizens, but prosecuting all those who break the law, and pursue this charge as though it was pursuing anybody else who had broken the law. Tyler, you want anything to say?
Well, I think what's really wrong about the whole situation is months after the fact that we, found out what actually happened, because Aaliyah really made it very unclear what actually happened for months. They wouldn't tell us any information. They actually didn't provide the true documentation of the body cam footage. We just now saw that.
What did they provide at first?
It was very cut up documentation of the body cam footage. The times didn't actually add up. It was a lot of misinformation.
Is the body cam footage something you can release to the media?
Well, we don't have the body cam footage. Under the law, and Mr. Daniel probably come and speak to that. Under the law in Alabama, you can petition for the families to come view it. It was Aaliyah allowed the family to come review the body camera. Mr. Van Dang and his reader was able to look at the body camera before it outright release to the public. It's not a public document. You can petition it. It has to go through a court to make the decision as such. I mean, this video should be released. It should be released if not one that show accountability, but show training. Because at the end of the day, we're trying to prevent these acts. We don't want to stand here in the heat of July in the sun, and talking about a man that should be still here living with his family. We want these things to stop. But no, it has not been released. I don't know if will it ever be released.
Absolutely. And also as a son, being able to watch his father being smeared in the ground with blood running down his face, that's traumatic as it is. We had to actually endure that for an hour, me and my brother. I mean, it's actually ridiculous to see what they did and how they handled it. So we absolutely need justice.
Can you spell your name for us?
My name's Kylie Reeder, Kylleereeder.
All right, over here.
When talking about the mental health crisis and Philip's condition, is there any other resource that 911 could have dispatched out to help besides the police, or are you just going for a better reaction?
No, the biggest thing we talk about training. It should be some type of measure of training that law enforcement can identify a person who have a mental health crisis. I worked in law enforcement myself, let's make no mistake about it. I think everybody's standing with me that we appreciate good law enforcement. We appreciate the men and women in our community who protect us every single day. But we must also hold those accountable who are not doing their job properly. Could they have done something differently? Absolutely. He was suffering a mental health crisis. The only thing at minimum that they have alleged that he was in the street. Disorderly at best. At best. It's not warranted for a knee on back of the neck. That is deadly force. So disorderly does not equal deadly force. Better training, accountability, but that starts from the top. Guys, make no mistake about it. If the top of the government of Irondale, or the mayor, or the city council, or the police holds all their officers accountable for their actions, then you'll be able to get a better stock of officers. That when they deal with these issues, they would know exactly what to do. Either one, training, or what could happen to them if they did not do it. So, could they have done something differently? Absolutely. Did they? They did not. But hopefully this lawsuit, if we bring one, that they would take this in accountability and some things would change. So the next person who's dealing with a mental health crisis will not be sent to the morgue.
When did you say the family was able to view the video?
It just, Friday?
Last week, July the 18th.
It's almost a whole year. A whole year. I think a colleague mentioned some.
August 6th is when we passed.
So August 6, 2024, when it was passed, I think some snippet clips was given.
It was a couple months after, I remember.
A couple months after that fact. So the full body cameras were shown July the 18th, just this past Friday. So that's why we're here. So a whole year later. Any other questions?
And who was it that called 911?
Who called me?
His office manager called 911 and said that he was having a medical emergency. He was not armed, he was not dangerous, and he needed medical help.
And what was happening up until before the police?
Yeah, come on. Ask your question again.
I'm sorry. And what was happening before the police arrived?
He was coming home from a job. He is the owner of Reeder Construction. He did a big job in Memphis and was coming home from that job. Probably stressed, anxiety, working around the clock, hot heat. And he was headed to Huntsville to start another job. And
explain to them that a little about Philip and who he was and the business that y'all ran successfully.
So Philip was a very successful businessman. He was the president CEO of Reeder Construction. He specialized in commercial concrete roofing. He was a home builder developing a subdivision over in Margaret, Alabama. He's a, husband, dad, papa, son, brother, friend to many that loved him. He was a wonderful provider for all of our family, the breadwinner of our family, and our lives have not been the same and never will be the same without him.
You want to say anything?
I know you said your name. Can you spell it?
My name?
Yes.
Sandra, Sandra, Lee, Lee, Reader, Reeder.
This is my son also.
I'm Zachariah Philip David Reader. I was named after my father. This is a horrible thing to happen to any family. It happened to George Floyd's, and it's happened to several other families. There's videos everywhere of people getting shot, killed, murdered, not just by other humans, but by police officers, people that are there to serve and protect. My dad, I would never say was a hero, because a hero is a fictional being. My dad was my father. He was a human. He was a man. Just like him, just like my brother, just like him, my mom, and myself, and all of you. For what to transpire, for what I have saw, what I have gone through these past 11 months, should not happen to any 19-year-old. Every day I work to be able to go to college, to get an education, to make sure that I can provide for myself and provide for my family. Just like how he taught me, just like how he raised me. My father isn't perfect. No one is. All I want is for justice for him and for his story to be known, that he was a good man and that he did everything he could to be a good father to me and my brothers and my sister.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Let me just say this in closing. You know, a lot of times when you see lawyers show up and people think, oh, here come the lawyers, here come the lawsuit, here come, money. This case is not about money. It's not about finance. It's about this family. And I get that from my good friends in North Carolina saying, Ms. Reader had to hire attorneys. Think about this, guys. She hired lawyers just to find out the truth. Just to find out the truth. We're not even talking about the pursuit of justice. Just to find out what happened. That's the America we live in. That's the state you live in. So I beg all y'all to petition y'all congressmen, your representatives to change the law. Because accountability is needed. If we have accountability, we don't have these things. If we have transparency, that promotes accountability. With that being said, thank you guys for coming up. I know it's hot. I appreciate it. And we will update y'all soon. We'll let you know how these things progress in the next steps, okay? Thank you.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you.